Hello, my friends. I'm Sam Hardesty, a certified life coach, and welcome to the Authentic Entrepreneur Podcast. Hey, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Authentic Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we have a guest speaker on, and I'm so excited to have her. Heather is the city owner of the Beauty Boost Cleveland. So the Beauty Boost is a community for women to feel empowered, healthy, and beautiful. They offer events and experiences such as weekend retreats, getaways, fitness events, empowerment workshops, and socials. Heather knows it can be tough to make real connections and friendships as an adult, and is actively creating a space in her community with the help of an amazing team of brand ambassadors where women can come together to meet, learn, grow together, and support local businesses. She is a positive and happy person, which I know from experience, who is devoted to working on her personal and professional development. Heather loves being out at events and meeting new friends, and equally loves being at home with her husband, twin boys, and dog Luna. I'm so excited to have her on the podcast, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Also, feel free to connect with Heather. We're having all the notes in the show notes on how to get a hold of her, and stay tuned. We have a juicy offer at the end. Hope you guys have fun. Hey, Heather, I'm so excited to have you on today. How are you?
Hi, Sam. Good. I'm so good. I'm so excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for today's conversation. I have so many juicy questions, and I'm so excited to get your take on all of it. So, if you could tell us all about you, who you are, what you do. We want to know more.
Yes. Okay. So my name's Heather Rymer. I am a very generally happy, super energetic, like want to be out with people doing things all the time type of person. Really optimistic. And so joining this amazing community, the Beauty Boost, is something that kind of came really naturally. And so I am the city owner of the Beauty Boost Cleveland. I'm also a mom of twin boys. I have a husband, Justin. We've been married for 10 years, and I have a dog that runs our household, and she is my queen. She's also 10 years old. And so I started getting involved with Beauty Boost in 2022, and then they were looking for a city owner. So I interviewed, went through a whole process, and got chosen to be the city owner of the Beauty Boost Cleveland, like franchise. And so I've been running that since like the end of 2022. So it is a community for women, and we are like our mission and our goal is to allow a space for women to feel empowered, healthy, and beautiful. And we do that through events and experience we do throughout the whole year. So we have things like fitness events, we do empowerment workshops, socials, we have like weekend getaway retreats and all kinds of things. And you can get involved and really make it a lifestyle. And that would be like our year pass, and you can really just dive all into all the events. Or you can just buy a ticket a la carte and just come to the ones you want to come to. And then we work with local business owners as well and really just bring the communities together. And so that's really what, brought me and you together. So I'm very thankful for that. And then I also work at a preschool, an inclusive preschool part time. And then I also do skincare and beauty on the side as well for Crunchy. So, and Crunchy is what really led me to the Beauty Boost because it's very much in the same wheelhouse, wellness, health, lifestyle type of thing. And so it really just kind of all connected together. And it was very like serendipitous. So it was really exciting. So yeah.
I love that. That's so fun, and I love that you do so many things. And I feel like a lot of it is because it's paralleled with me. Like I do so many different things. So I feel like
Yes.
it really speaks into the fact that like as humans, as especially I think as women, like we're so multifaceted, and
Yes.
to be able to do all the different things and still like, I don't know, just crush it all the time. Like it's just so fun.
Oh, yes. I always hope I am. Sometimes there's just a million balls in the air and you're just trying to
Yeah.
keep them all up there. So that's what I
Yeah.
feel like most of the time. But I do love just being involved so much, especially when it's like things that build me up. Like me personally, I'm always all about self-development and professional development, personal development, all of that. And I feel like all the things that I do really help like me do those things. So I feel like it's all kind of connected. So
I love it. Okay, so this is a serious question.
yes.
Very, very serious. Um, would I'm being very sarcastic.
No, I
Um,
yes.
you know that. Would you consider cereal a soup?
No. I don't even like to consider it a breakfast. So no.
What? Okay, tell us all the things we need to
No.
know.
I am not a big cereal fan. My
Okay.
husband and my kids actually do love it, and I just feel like it's like fluff in a bowl. Like, I guess there are protein ones and stuff, but I do not consider it a soup. Do you?
Um, That's a great. I don't think I do, only
No.
because when I think of soup, I think of hot. I always
Yes.
think it has to be warm. So anytime, like I've had soups, I forget what they're called, but soups that are
Gazpacho?
cold.
Oh,
Yes, that are
yeah.
cold. And I put it in my mouth, I'm like, oh, like it tastes like
Mhm.
salsa, like a creamed
Oh,
salsa. And I'm
yes.
like, this like I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I'm not a fan. So I
Yeah.
guess we're on the same page for different reasons.
Yes. Yes.
But also I haven't had cereal in a while though.
No.
I
And I know
used
there are good ones out there, so I'm not bashing all of them, but
to.
I don't feel like I feel like everyone's always hungry after and
That's
yeah, no.
fair. That's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
not too far off. I like it. Okay, so what does living authentically mean to you?
Okay. So living authentically. I'm 39, just throw that out there. And I feel like I have spent probably the last decade really finding out who I really am. I'm constantly learning. I still don't think I know 100%, but I'm closer than ever. I feel like living authentically is like not making yourself small in any situation that you're in. I feel like I can be a lot for some people. And I think now I'm really comfortable with that's okay. I like being not loud, like not obnoxiously loud, but I like being involved with people and talking and I like being in the conversation. I also like listening, but I really like to be there and be super excited about the little things because that's who I am. And that when I hear authentic, that always makes me think of that. Like, because I do get excited about the littlest things because that makes me happy. And so I feel like doing those things that might not appeal to everybody, but it makes you happy. I think that is living authentically. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I like it.
um I do think just doing things that really help propel yourself into like the better version of you, whether it be getting involved in the community or getting outside of your comfort zone or um, things like that, and just speaking to people who you normally wouldn't speak to learn more. I feel like all those things allow you to live authentic to you, to who you are and stuff. And just I really truly feel like it's really simple and just being doing the things that make you happy and make you
Yeah,
feel joyful. So
I love that. And I love that the way you said that at the end is just like it's very simple. And the thing
yeah.
I think that throws so many people off is they feel like it has to be this huge, very complex thing.
Yes.
And I feel like people also get it confused. They think simple equals easy, and that's not
Yes.
necessarily the case. Something could
No.
be very simple. It could be like, okay, this is a one-step process, one thing, be authentic. And then like, okay, just because it's one step doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy.
Right.
So
I think great
I
phrase.
love that.
Yeah. Not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I know you kind of spoke a little bit into it, but just to dive a little bit deeper and maybe more specifically is like, what is the beauty boost? What does it do?
Yes. Okay. And I know I kind of jumbled it in there with my
No
introduction.
stress at
So I
all.
apologize.
No,
But yes.
totally.
Yes. So we are really a group of women and it's really hard to make friends as an adult. And I think a lot of people can agree on that. And especially coming out of college or high school or wherever, your phase in life is, making friends when you're working full time or doing your jobs or doing your different businesses you're doing or being a mom or whatever it is, it's hard to make friends as an adult. So Rachel Kurz, she's our founder. She started this in 2015 in Columbus, and then it branched out to Cincinnati and Cleveland. And now we're in 28 cities and growing. We might even be in 29 now, actually,
That's
across the
awesome.
United States. So she created this group of women and invited people to come, started inviting businesses to work with her and things like that to come together to make it really easy, carefree, like a chill vibe, like fun, things like that to make it really easy to meet other like minded women to then hopefully turn those into friendships. So we've been in here in Cleveland for 6 years. And like I said, this is my first full year of running it and owning it. And so we partner with like venues around the Cleveland area. And then also local businesses work with us. Most of them are, I would say, like 99% are women owned businesses, but there will sometimes be a male instructor or a male like masseuse or something like that. We definitely don't, shy away from men, but we are definitely geared toward women. And we just make like really fun environments to have women come and meet each other and, prompt conversation or like introduce each other. If like, hey, I know you like this and I heard you like this, like, why don't you guys chat, to really just make it like, to bring it back in, like authentic, real conversations rather than just surface stuff. So that's really our goal, is just to, do fun things around the city, and support local businesses is super important. And then also, of course, just bring in women who are looking for friends and just other women to hang out with. So
I know my experience with the Beauty Boost has been exceptional. I feel like coming in there, as I say vendor, like a
yeah,
business, having a booth set up and everything.
yeah,
I feel like at the minimum, it provides you an opportunity to speak more into who you are, what you do as a
yes.
business owner, as a business. And I feel like that's so important in a skill, especially as like small businesses or solopreneurs, like that's something to practice. And I
Hmm.
feel like the more you are able to articulate and practice that, the more you're able to refine exactly who you are, what you do. Because I think from a sales perspective, you may say,
Yes.
oh, this is who I do, this is what I do. And who I work with, and these are their common problems. But the more you talk and you realize, like, oh, actually, people resonate with this line of
Yes.
questioning and wording and that kind of stuff too. So
Mhm.
I feel like from even a sales perspective, like you learn so much about your potential audience, assuming your audience is also women in Cleveland, Ohio. I feel like
Right.
it's that part.
Yes.
But
Yes. Like I
it's
said, we're in 20, I want to say 29. I'm going to say 29 cities now across the United States. And it's all very similar. Like all the city owners are very connected. We talk all the time. So it really is a national brand that, we all have the same goal and same drive and stuff like that to really bring women together. So it really is awesome.
that's so fun. And you can feel that connectivity too. Like
I'm
just
so glad.
everyone is awesome.
That's
Um,
amazing. That.
okay, why do you think it's hard to make friends as adults?
Yes. That's a great, great question. So I feel like um I think it's hard to kind of get out of our own way and out of our own head, I'm sure, because it's like if you see a cool girl and you're like, "Oh my gosh, she looks so cool and I would love to talk to her," you're going to be in your head like, "Oh my gosh, well, what am I going to say?" and da 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 da. So we try to get rid of all that stuff. And so I think just making friends as an adult, like finding time for yourself and to really put yourself out there and to make relationships a priority. I don't think a lot of people do that often. Or, it's like things like this that it's like, oh, wow, I do need to do that. I do miss having girlfriends, or I do miss going out and having dinners or whatever it is. So I honestly think it maybe gets put on the back burner because we're in our careers, or we're like starting a business, or like I said, moms, like things like that. And so I do think it probably just gets put back on the back burner until we're like, oh my gosh, I feel lonely. I feel like I don't have connection that I need, and stuff like that. So I think it kind of just the priorities need to shift sometimes, I think, in life. So
Yeah, I feel like a lot of women don't view it as self-care. They view
yeah,
it as
right.
more self-indulgent. Like,
Yes.
"Oh my gosh, I'm taking in time away from my kids or my partner or,
Hmm.
whoever to hang out with my friends." And
Right.
so they view it as like a selfish thing. Like, well, who am
Hmm.
I to have to call a babysitter 3 times a week to go hang out with someone,
Right.
or whatever that is,
Yeah.
as an example. But I feel like that is something that people forget, is that
Hmm.
friendships. I was reading a statistic recently. I totally am gonna butcher it
No,
now
that,
thinking about it, but essentially saying like um your um longevity, like how long you live, a
Mhm.
lot of it is connected based on how deep your relationships are with others.
Oh my
And that
gosh.
was something I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, okay, so to live long, I have to have friends.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
right. It
you
really is.
know, in big summary. But I
Yeah.
think that was a really interesting statistic, and a lot of it had to do with the reduction of this reduced feeling of, like you said, loneliness, or
Mhm.
even reduces anxiety and depression, like that feeling of love and connection, and feeling like you're like part of a bigger picture, like just of humanity
Yes.
as a whole. I feel like really changes that perspective in our mind, um, to just realize like you're not alone. We're all
Yeah.
in this together.
Yeah.
So that's
I totally agree. Yeah, and I do wanna say too, I feel like my husband, Justin, he
yeah.
is we've been together for we always kind of forget, but I think it's like 17 years together,
Oh
married
wow.
for 10, and like I said, we have twin boys, so, I mean, even all of these, like, different components, it's hard for, us to just find time in that relationship, and we make that work, and he is my best friend for sure. Tell him everything, we talk about everything. However, I should say, I also feel like women and women, like, relationships, it's just so different. Like, you still need that. I still need that woman connection because we can relate on something on a different level than, like, say, me and him can. And so I do feel like it's just so important to have that, whether it's one best girlfriend or, a couple friends or a big group of them, like, to have that woman connection is just so important.
I feel like when, especially as we go through this shift from childhood to adulthood, like from high school, college, to just adulting kind of vibe.
Yeah,
We think that, like, how do we make friends when we're younger? Oh, because we're in the same activities or the same sports or the same classes, right? When you're an adult, those things are almost non-existent depending on how your lifestyle is. So I feel like, the beauty boost is a beautiful opportunity. A tip that I have been known to do, and I will not change, is scheduling my time to hang out with friends. Like,
yeah,
I
oh,
literally I'm like, "I wanna hang out with you this month. Let's get it on the calendar." Otherwise,
there
it
you
doesn't happen. So,
mhm.
I feel like that's always been a very helpful tip, because I feel like people think sometimes that, "Oh, it should just happen spontaneously," and that's not the case. Especially as an entrepreneur, like, our life's
Yes.
crazy, like, we're all over the place all the
Yeah.
time. We don't know what their next day is looking, or we know
Yes.
so far in advance, we need to schedule our friends so far in advance.
Oh, yeah, and I love that you said that because I recently and I think it's because I do a lot of phone calls for the Beauty Boost, and that's how I talk to a lot of partners, AKA, like, vendor, that's, like, what we
Yeah.
businesses and stuff like that, and a couple of my girlfriends, we actually, like, schedule phone calls because
Mhm.
I, one, have found a new love for talking on the phone, and I feel like there's
Awesome.
such a connection there, but then also, it's funny that you said about scheduling because we've done it's like 15 minutes, and it just takes the pressure off of, well, can I call her now or can I not? Or can we talk for 5 minutes or is it 15? And it really does. It's like, here's a set time. We're going to talk for 10 minutes and then we're both going to do our own stuff. It
Yeah.
has been a game changer. So I am a huge scheduling fan. So
That's
I love
incredible. It's funny you mentioned about the love for phone conversations.
it.
My husband Ian, he just started, I don't know where it came from, but anytime he's driving now, especially driving home from projects or from clients or work, he'll call people now. Like, that's
Oh,
becomes this
yes.
that's something my family has always done, is when you're just doing nothing in a car ride, like, they'll just call me up or whatever, and
Yeah,
I started witnessing that in him. He's like, "Yeah, this is so fun. I don't have to call people when I'm at home. I can just call them while I'm driving." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So,
I know. It's so funny, but it is. And even that connection is just so nice to have. I don't know. It really is. It makes such
yeah.
a difference.
Yeah, I think it's super fun. So, I guess kinda going off of that, what's the importance of having community around you?
Yes. So I will be very honest. I did not know the Beauty Boost existed before January of 2022 at all. I had no idea. I have been with Crunchy. I briefly mentioned it. So they're a clean beauty and skincare company, and I've been with them for almost 5 years now. And I have a great online community there. I know a couple girls in the Cleveland area, and we're very good friends. We've, become over the years and stuff. So I have that smaller knit community with that. But I didn't really have a large network of people around me, like in person. And client of mine had said, "Hey, I think you should check out Beauty Boost. This is a really awesome thing I do in Cincinnati and Dayton area, and I think you would love it. The wellness lifestyle, everything that lines up with what you do." So that's really how I even knew of the Beauty Boost. It was very blip, random message. So once I went to one event, which just just to add a little more about who I am, I would never have gone to anything by myself ever in a million years. I need my kids, I need my dog with me, I need Justin, like a girlfriend. Like I don't do stuff by myself,
Yeah.
really honestly. Went to this event by myself. It was the year project in 2022. And I could not get over how comfortable I felt. And that is something that just does not happen in my, like, in what I can remember and stuff. Like I'm always more, nervous or anxious and being by myself. So I went to this year project event, and the community and the women who were there were so kind and comfortable and easy to talk to. And it was just very easy is the best word I can describe it. I was so comfortable there. And I know I'm repeating myself, but that's like really the
Oh,
feeling I had. And um, after that, I'm like, this has to be something that I need. And I didn't realize that that is like what the community is. Like, that is what you having a community for yourself, that's what that is, being comfortable, being able to talk about like real topics and real things, and having discussions about important stuff. And just having that, I think, is so important in life. Again, like I said, I'm a person who really strives to be better than I was the day before. That is something that is really important to me. And I have this community of women in Cleveland now. I have this community of those city owners that we can go to each other and talk to about everything. It's not just business stuff, it's all life things too. So I have all these little pockets of people in this community that I've created over the last 2 years, really. And it has just changed my life in such a positive way. So I think just having that support and women who believe in you and think you're awesome, and I just think that's such a really wonderful thing to have. And I think a lot of people don't have that. And I think that's what is so needed too, especially nowadays.
for sure. And I think you kind of answered a little bit about this, but how how would you define a supportive community, and like what should you look for in a community?
Yes, I think, um, and I know it's kind of like cliche, but like people who support you, like who are bringing you up, lifting you up. And I work with a lot of women in the same, even just taking crunchy, like the skincare industry, or, other event planners I know that I've met through the Beauty Boost. And it's very uplifting. It's not like, oh, I'm going to get that venue before she does. There's not competition there. It's not, um, what I have seen over the last 2 years of being with the Beauty Boost, it's very much I want you to win and I want to win, and let's keep lifting each other up. And I think that is such a big thing. Like if you want to walk into a room and have these people be excited you're there, not uh like a weird vibe. You don't want to have that like, oh, icky, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
That is, I hope I'm kind of going around in a circle, but
No, yeah, that's perfect.
it is. I feel like just the feeling you get when you're with people and amongst a group of people who really want you to be there with them. And I think that just having that uplifting, like, hey, I've been there too, or and being able to talk freely about like problems you're having or issues you're having, and just having that support of let's talk about it and then let's figure out a solution too. Let's get you out of there, like type of thing. Like just that, like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I feel like just even having that, like a good rule of thumb is like when you go to an event or to a new thing, or even you connect with someone new, I always kind of reflect afterwards and say, okay, do I feel more energized, more of
yes,
myself, or do I feel less of myself, more like I need recharging? Because I
yes,
feel like that's huge, especially like I'm an introvert, I'm a projector, like my energy is so protective, is so
yeah.
sacred to me. It's like, yeah, yeah, So
That is
like,
that is a perfect way. I didn't I that was what I wanted to say. Yeah, that's a great phrase because that's amazing how, and I think that's really important because if you're feeling like, oh gosh, I'm like feel small and I feel drained, like then you need to find another group because it shouldn't be like that. It should just be like, wow, I feel like I could like go run a mile. I could,
Yeah.
do all these things and my creative juices are flowing. Like those are all the things that I feel like coming out of like a beauty boost event. It is like for days after I'm like, oh, I love this. It's just such a great feeling to have. So
Yeah. And I feel like you really hit it on the head. Like my experience with the Beauty Boost, it's always been like I guess in in one word would be just safe. Like you
oh
feel
yeah,
safe in a sense of like when you show up, no, there's no judgment there. Like everyone's just trying to be supportive of each other.
yeah,
Like everyone has their own story, and I think everyone knows that too.
yeah,
So everyone's just coming and just trying to be the best versions of themselves that they can
yeah,
be in the moment. Like you just feel safe to be yourself, to
yeah.
be that authentic version of yourself. Um, which I think is super important and like you said, so needed nowadays. I
Mhm.
feel like on like even just the basics of social media, I feel like everyone's always trying to like I don't know, censor themselves
Oh yeah,
essentially. They're like, "Oh, well, I don't want this to go viral and I get called mean things or whatever,"
right.
but
Yes.
showing up an event where you can just be yourself and you'll always find someone, at least one person, if most of the time way many more, that are like, "Oh my god, let's be best friends." Like,
Yes,
because connect
exactly.
in so many different levels.
Yes. It is, yeah, it's amazing to see that, and then the more events you come to, you start seeing, like, some of the same people too, and that's exciting because then it's like, "Oh, I know she's gonna be here," and or what yeah, it's
You start
great.
anticipating everyone and
Yes.
get to see
Mhm.
familiar faces. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So, what are important factors that you consider when bringing in a bunch of women together? Because you're bringing in just women in the community.
Yeah.
Some are they have so many different backgrounds. Some
Yeah.
are corporate people, some are entrepreneurs, some don't have a job,
Yes.
and I feel like maybe as women, at least on my end, women as entrepreneurs, like, we kind of connect at that as a base level, and when that's not there, like, I don't know, I'm getting ahead of myself now,
Oh,
but
no,
essentially,
that's okay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, what are those factors you consider when bringing a bunch of people together?
Yes. So I do think about the space a lot and what kind of environment, like just the space itself is going to be. And because I really love like the relaxed, easygoing feel, like because I think that's something as like me as a woman myself going into a place, I don't want it to be somewhere I already feel uncomfortable with the environment. So I really try to always be mindful of that. Um, and then I think of ways to just make it easy for each other to talk to because yes, you could put a ton of people in a room and no one's speaking. We've all been in that situation. It's like
Mm.
we try to do things and bring in businesses that are fun and upbeat and relaxing and pampering and at the beauty boost events every business we work with gives some kind of complimentary experience and that's really to make it easy to talk to the person behind the table. It's not this like scary thing, oh gosh, I have to go to every table. No, it's like a fun thing, like I have this for you. So it already that is starting to make connections and start conversations going. So I think, yeah, like the atmosphere is my biggest thing, I think for sure. And just to make sure everybody feels comfortable right then. And then of course, like on the kind of surface level, like snacks and drinks and
Yeah.
it doesn't always have not alcohol. It doesn't always have to be that. I like to provide that too if I can, but even just like having water available and like I said, like snacks and stuff, like I think that makes it easy to talk about too, because everybody likes snacks, and
True.
myself included. Uh, and then yeah, I guess those are the big things for sure. I don't know if I answered that right, but
No, that's perfect. I love
yeah.
it. Um, So we've kind of spoken a little bit into it, but why is personal development and or trying something new just important in your life?
Yes. So, I feel like that is how you grow. And I have done a ton of like therapies, counseling. I'm a big advocate for that. And I feel like just getting outside of yourself and getting outside of your own head and doing that it just moves you forward. because I'm not a person, I don't like to be stuck. I don't like to be, and I get in funks too and stuff. And so I'm like, I'm going to give myself this amount of time to be in this funky place. And then we're going to move forward and do something different. And so I just feel like it's so important, just as a human being, as a mom, as, just as a wife, you can get stuck in these roles, and doing something outside of my comfort zone allows me to kind of get a little scared and to take chances and to put myself out there more. And I think that's exciting. And uh, I just feel like that's how you grow. Like, you can't just, if you stay in the same spot, you're going to be in the same spot you were, a year ago. And that's not okay for me, because again, there's just too much of life out there. There's too much world to see. And I feel like any kind of growth is just going to help you be a better person. Like, again, like, I do a lot of this stuff to be a better mom, to be a better, friend, and, things like that. So, um, yeah, I just really love and enjoy being able to try different things. And if I fail, I've really gotten to the point now, again, it's been like the last like couple years. If I fail, I think like I'm not even going to be embarrassed. It's like, at least I'm trying this. Like, I'm out here. If someone says something, at least I'm trying it and I'm doing it. And if I fail, it's okay. And I'll do something else. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's just really important to kind of make yourself, it sounds weird, to kind of scare yourself a little bit and to have that little bit of like exciting fear, because then it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be something that I could really enjoy and love. And I would never try it if, or know that I loved it if I didn't try. So I'm a big fan of that. And that's how I like talk to my kids a lot about it. And because I just always want them to do the same thing. And I think that, kind of wrapping it in together, my children, they're 9, they are a huge reason to why I live that way and continue to live that way, because I really want to kind of pass that down to them. And again, we talk a ton about that, Justin and I, to them, because they see what I'm doing at the beauty booth. They see what I'm doing, like going out, and they help me with some things with getting events ready and stuff like that. And I think that's really important, because it's like I have other aspects of my life that are really important to me, and me getting out there and trying new things and growing in that way shows them that, I can do that too. And I can do hard things and I can do stuff. And if I mess up, then I'll try something different. And so I just think that's really important.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, I worked for a business coach actually, and he showed me this diagram, which is essentially like three circles on top of each other. And that inner core circle is your comfort zone. Just
Hmm.
outside of that's your uncomfortable zone. And then outside of that is your panic zone. And he said for you to be the most authentic version of yourself, in the sense of like always growing to that next version of yourself, like always making progress toward like just sharing your gifts with the world, be in that uncomfortable zone.
Hmm.
Said when you get to the panic zone, that's when you're like flight freeze, that's when your nervous system gets all sorts out of whack.
Yes.
And the more we can practice just getting outside of our comfort zone, it actually starts expanding our uncomfort zone, where we have more of ability to be more uncomfortable. So
Hmm.
like everyone knows, like when you start something new at first, you're like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. You get like
Yeah.
just full of anxiety, right? But the more you start doing that thing, the next time you're there, like you start helping out someone else that's really new, like your comfort level increases,
Hmm.
which is always something that's always been huge to me, ever having that, like, since I've had that visualization, like, I always try to be uncomfortable, never to a point where I burn myself out or, like, panic and freeze, but just always pushing myself to be that next version of myself, that best
Yes.
version of myself
Yeah.
has always been super huge.
I totally agree. I love that. I love that visualization too. I've never heard that. I really like that.
Yeah, it's just I feel like so often, I feel like we kind of get confused and we think by doing something new, because we want to do something new, it's supposed to be fun and easy and we're supposed to be happy and we're supposed to love it. And
Hmm.
a lot of the times we find when we're doing something new, we're like, "Oh my god, I hate this. I'm so uncomfortable. Like, I just meh," like, you kinda,
Yeah.
"I don't wanna do that," but, I feel like when we can kinda change that thought into, like, "I wanna do something new, and I'm okay if I'm uncomfortable doing it," and realizing that I probably will feel uncomfortable doing that. I feel like it really opens us to the possibilities of trying more new things.
Yes.
Because we're kind of setting the expectation ahead of time, saying, "Hey, I'm probably going to be uncomfortable. It's new for me, but I want to do it anyways. Like, why not?"
Yes. Yeah. And it
I
is, it's like
remember
the worst thing that's gonna happen is like you fall flat on your face or it's, embarrassing or whatever it is. It's like, "You know what? I tried. We're going on. We're moving on."
literally, and
Yeah.
I feel like we always forget too that everyone is pretty much worried about their own selves. Like,
Yes, yes.
rarely when you walk into the room, you're like, "Oh my god, everyone's looking at me. I'm so," everyone's probably thinking about all the things.
Yes,
It's like they're thinking about the same thing for their own selves.
yes.
Like,
It is,
uh,
and once you get past that, I mean, that's in, like, every single self-help book or podcast I've listened to too, and it's like,
yes.
that is so true. You just can't worry, and if they're really worried about you, then okay, well, that's fine. I
Yeah.
don't know. It really is.
Okay, we kind of spoke a little bit into it, but how does one create community around their own selves? Like, how does one essentially start forming a community? Like,
So
their own self.
yes. Yes. No, I definitely think that putting yourself out there and making it as simple as I'll use the beauty boost because I think it's in a great community of women that I have found extremely like helpful and beneficial in my life. Um, just making that first step to go to an event. I think that is a huge thing, putting yourself in that position to meet other women that could potentially be your community. I think just really again, putting your worriedness aside, your, thinking about like what they're going to think of you too much, like things like that. I think just putting yourself out there and just going to an event, going to a coffee shop or whatever it is that, where we're having it and going there and just saying hi. I think just really taking that first step of putting yourself out there because it's not going to happen in your house. Like you're not going to find that community. It really isn't. I mean, and there are great online communities. So I guess even taking it like that, we have um, we use Halo. It's our free app for through the Beauty Boost, and that could be an awesome way to start if you're afraid to like go to a physical in-person event. Jumping into our Halo app, and I will. It's a longer link, so I'll make sure to share it with you. But even that, like, and just saying hi and introducing yourself. We have tons of women on there who have never been to an event yet, and they just talk on Halo through our app, and it's all the same kind of vibe, the healthy wellness type of lifestyle. And we also like to like go to a brewery on the weekends or whatever it is, or we love dogs or we love hiking. All kinds of women like that are talking on our app, and it's free to join. And even just taking that step to just introduce yourself, I think that's a really um, big thing that you could do that's simple. So,
It's huge. So, what is it like to work with the Beauty Boost as both an attendee and a business owner?
yes. Oh, I like that question. Okay. So, as an attendee, I mentioned this before, you could jump all in, make it a lifestyle, and grab a year pass. And that gets you into all of our events in Cleveland. And then I believe there's a discount on our weekend getaway retreats too. So, it's a really awesome deal with that and a great value. And so, you could come to an event. Again, that gets you into all the events, or you could buy a ticket a la carte, go to the event, you enjoy. Sometimes there's speakers, sometimes there's always going to be some kind of businesses set up around the room giving complimentary experiences. You could come solo, which a ton of our women do, or come with friends. And so you come join. It's usually 2.5 hours to 3 hours depending on what the event is. And like I said, sometimes it's socials and you're really there's no real structure. You're just walking around, hanging out, talking to businesses and stuff like that and enjoying all those experiences. Sometimes it's structured and sit down and there's objectives and things like that we do, and speakers, like I said. And so it really just depends on the event. As a business, we partner up with you for the year, essentially. And we have packages that are including like in person events. You could be a speaker, there's digital marketing that we offer. So, really, whatever it is you're looking for to help grow your business. So we have you for in-person events, like have you come set up a table, very much like a vendor. And we do ask, like I mentioned before, a complimentary experience, very quick, because we want you to make as many connections authentically as possible with the women and guests that are at the events. And while, if we do definitely have people who sell products and things like that, then we really make it clear, we want you. I'm all about, I want you to sell as much as you can for sure. But it really is about making that connection so that like later on in like the week or in a couple weeks or whatever, someone's going to be thinking like, oh my gosh, I met her at the Beauty Boost event. I'm going to call her because they already have that like personal connection. So it might not just be, and that's kind of what makes us different than a market too. Our experiences and our events are more about the connection, and that potentially, becoming a client later down the line. And so, yeah, we just try to immerse you into as a business owner, immerse you into our community, get you familiar with the women who are coming, and really make it all throughout the year. And that's why we offer those kind of packages too.
And I know that the Beauty Boost is all like has a new offering. It's like the Beauty Boost Biz. Can you tell us
Yes.
more about that?
Yes. So this is very exciting. So this is brand new, and it's launched and live and everything. And so it's like a sister of the Beauty Boost. And so it is a community for driven, ambitious entrepreneurs, female owned. And we really recommend, it's really for women who want to grow their business. It's for someone who wants to like really dig their heels in, get involved with this, larger community and do things in 2024 that are really just going to propel what you're doing now. So there's all kinds of speakers throughout the year. There's going to be 4 in-person events in Cleveland that I'm bringing into that. And so we'll have speakers, there'll be things to learn on and stuff like that. And just really having that community of just entrepreneurs around you. So you're not doing this alone, and it's really going to be an awesome, awesome offering. I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
so exciting. Okay, so I only have one more question left.
Yes.
What advice would you give to other women entrepreneurs to living their most authentic selves?
Oh gosh. Okay. I know. So specifically for entrepreneurs, I feel because it's so funny. I have to be honest. I do not really think of myself as an entrepreneur. And it's funny
Oh,
because
really?
I don't know if it's just like the mindset right now or like, that I have to get to eventually. Um, So it's funny because I do feel honored to be in your presence because I know what an amazing successful entrepreneur you are and the women that come to our events and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so cool. So I feel very honored to be in that category. Um, I feel like just knowing that there's going to be some people who absolutely love your stuff, whatever you're offering, your services, things like that. And there's some people it's just not for them. And knowing that and being okay with that, I think is so important because we all get stuck on the one negative thing that comes out of either an event or a speaking session or whatever it is that you're doing. We can all get stuck on that one negative thing when there's 200 other people who are like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. And then you're like thinking about that one negative
Yes.
comment. I know I do that myself, so that's something I work on. But I think really honing in on why you're doing it, why you have this business, what is making you happy and bringing you joy, and really coming from a place of that and love rather than like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do all this, or my checklist needs to do this. Like, rather than coming from like a place of like draining and coming from a place of joy with it, I think that automatically will just help you live more authentically as an entrepreneur because you're doing it because you really truly like in your soul and your heart you really want to be doing it. So I think when it gets to become like a draining, like, I don't know what else the word is, but like just like from a place of like more alone or sad or things like that, if it's coming from that place, like there's never going to be any joy there, I guess, in your business, and it's going to be more work than it is like a service that you're providing for someone. So I
Yeah.
think just really knowing that, you're not going to be for everybody and that's okay. And you don't want to be, and that's all right too. I think that is really important because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs that I've met over the last year, that has been kind of one of the pain points that we've talked a lot about, I think, and just making sure you're doing things because it brings you joy. You want to help your community, the women around you, things like that, like just doing it out of love. I think that's a really big, important thing to have in business, I think.
Yeah. I was always told the more no's you get, that means you're just that much closer to a yes. And
Oh,
that
that's
was
amazing.
something that
Yes.
always like stood out to me because I would like if I heard a no, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm done. Like I'm just done for." Like
Yes.
no is official no, and
Yes.
but it just means you're closer to your yes. And I love it that you said like the more you know your why, I feel
Mhm.
like the less you'll be likely to bend for other people's opinion
Yes.
because other people's opinions are generally just projections of themselves onto you.
Yes.
So if you are so grounded in your knowing, then you're like, you know, I don't know what you got going on, sister, but I am loving life over here. So
Yes.
like, uh,
Yeah.
you can kind of just be more confident in your offerings when you know
Yes.
why you're doing it and
Yes, it is.
don't
It's been
intentions.
amazing the people I've gotten to talk to, and I feel very lucky that I get to do that because I hear someone talking about, I don't know, a product that they're really excited about and they're explaining it, and it could be anything. It could be like, I don't know, a new pen that they have, and they're talking to me like it is going to change the world. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I love how passionate they are about this pen. Or, that's a
That's
total
true.
example.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then there's also because it's hard to, if you're not excited about your own stuff, nobody else is going to be. So it's
Yes.
like, I wanna talk about people talk about my stuff, how this person's talking about their pen because it's bringing them joy, they're excited, they wanna share it. So it really is, I think it's so important, and that's hard. Knowing your why is very hard, and I will admit that absolutely, and it's always being refined, and it's always being changed and stuff, and that's okay too. So I feel like it's just really important, I think, to know that. And I really doing it from love and joy. And that's really what I try to bring into everything I do because, and I know people, not anyone really around us, but there are people out there that like, you shouldn't mix that with business. But I think that is not the way to go because why are you doing it then? Like that, it has to be from that just joyful, happy, loving place. Cause then your services are going to show that what you put out and produce is going to show that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So I this is so fun. I
This
love all
was so
with
fun, I
you.
love it.
Okay, so tell us where we can find you and how people can learn more about the Beauty Boost and working with you.
Yes, absolutely. So we're on Facebook. I still love Facebook, so I'll throw that out there. We're on Facebook. It's the Beauty Boost Cleveland. If you search that, you'll find us. And then we have our Instagram. So it's at the Beauty Boost _ Cleveland. We're really active on there, and that's where a ton of our information is going to be. And I'm just showing like our venues and the partners we're working with and things like that, and what events are coming up. And then, like I said, I mentioned the Halo app that we are on. You can find our channel. It's the Beauty Boost Cleveland. And then also the beautyboost.net / Cleveland is going to be our website. And there's a ton of information on there. All our events are on there. You can find out more information about the Beauty Boost Biz if you have a business and you're interested in. That's a really awesome value that we're providing for 2024. And then, yeah, tons of other stuff is on there.
I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. I'm so excited for everyone to hear all of this. I think there's a lot of beautiful, juicy takeaways from today's chat.
And thank you so much. This was so fun. I appreciate it so much.
Oh my gosh, of course. Well, have a fabulous day.
Yes, thank you too.
Offer time. Heather is offering a complimentary ticket to the Beauty Boost Year Project event on January 18th or their Galentine's Glam and Glow event on February 15th. All she needs is your first and last name and your email address to get you and a friend, if you'd like, register. This is only for the Authentic Entrepreneur Podcast listeners. Make sure you check out the notes in the show notes to get connected with Heather and get those free event tickets. This is a fabulous offer, guys. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Authentic Entrepreneur Podcast. I hope in between the words of this episode, you found more of your authentic self. It would mean the world to me if you, 1, like this episode if you learned something new, 2, share this episode with a friend who you think needs to hear this, and lastly, 3, to follow and subscribe to this podcast. I want to hang out with you more. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram, send me a DM, wave hi, whatever floats your boat, all at Sam Hardesty Coaching. That's at Sam Hardesty Coaching on Instagram. And hey, look at you go, learning new things, becoming more self-aware and shit, absolutely crushing it, my friend. Thank you so much. I love you. And until next time, stay authentic.